Hey guys, it's Gabby. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my sneak peek or my peekaboo, my first peekaboo. It's something like that. I'll put it right here. It's a company that you can go to get a blood test to check the gender. You can also get an ultrasound starting at 14 weeks to check your gender. And then you can also get like ultrasounds just to see your baby or even find out if you're pregnant through them. They will like host gender reveal parties and everything like that. And they don't have them in every city. They had them in mine, which was really cool because a few of my friends had gone and I could not wait till the 20 week, I just couldn't wait. So I looked into it and they said at 14 weeks you can come in and you can find out the gender. And then we waited and it was like something that I was so excited to wait for. I couldn't wait to get to 14 weeks just so I could find out the gender. And we go in, we're so excited. So we go in, it's really nice. We have my boyfriend's mom and my best friend there and my boyfriend. At first the baby's like not showing its parts at all. Like it's just not moving in the way that it's moving its parts. So she had me actually roll on the ground and do some things to get the baby to move. And then when I got back on the table, the baby did actually move and she said that it was a boy. She was 100%. I was like, are you 100%? Because I'm already skeptical of most of that kind of stuff anyway. So I have my retainer and that's why in some videos you're gonna see me talking and I'm gonna sound like an idiot and then sometimes I'm not. So, I was like, are you 100% sure that it's a boy? Because I'm already a skeptic on everything anyway and kind of a control freak. So I'm like, are you sure it's a boy? And I think she wanted it to be a boy because my boyfriend wanted it so badly to be a boy. And she was like, yeah, it's a boy. Like, I know it's a boy. And when we looked on the monitor, you could definitely see that it had what we thought was a penis at the time. And it did look like a little boy on the thing. But as a technician, I guess they have to like see it at all different angles to make sure that it's a boy, obviously. Because there's certain angles that a boy wouldn't have and a girl would and vice versa and everything like that. So she kind of jumped the gun, and I think she was kind of jumping the gun almost because of my boyfriend wanting a boy so badly. And then we're like, okay, so my boyfriend's just so excited, and right away we all go to Target and I get boy clothes and everything like that, and I'm really excited that it's a boy. I call my family, we tell our friends, we do the announcement on Instagram because I made sure that I asked her, I was like, are you 100% sure? Like, really need you to be 100% sure. Even if you're not 100% sure, we can wait a little bit longer and come back or whatever the case is. I need to know for sure. And she was like so confident. She gave us a little blue elephant with the heartbeat in it and everything like that. And then about a week later, I went to my OB and she was like, well, you got to be careful with some of those things, because I told her, I was like, oh, it's a boy. And she was like, well, you got to be careful with some of those things because even at 20 weeks, they can still get it wrong. Sometimes it's just the way that the cookie crumbles. And she explained to me how the baby's parts at like 14 weeks and below and stuff, they're still very swollen. So where maybe it looks like a boy is just like a little girl's parts and they're still very swollen. So I was like, oh crap, okay, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call Sneak Peek back, or my peekaboo, sorry, I'll put it there, I swear. I'm gonna call them back and just see. And honestly, this company is very, very kind, and they're really great. I think maybe the technician, she might have jumped the gun. Anyway, so then I called their main office and she called our city and talked to the technicians, and they re-looked over the ultrasound and they weren't 100% sure. So it must have been another technician who went over it, because I had the ultrasound pictures, but they were really, really dark on the pictures came out really, really dark. So I really couldn't tell, nor could I show like my OB or anybody like as reference, because the pictures were just too dark. So then I called, and then one of their technicians at the place was like, you know what, honestly, we're not 100% sure. We can't see all the angles in these specific ultrasound pictures that we have on file. Like, it would be better if you just came back free of charge. And I thought that was really, really cool because I didn't want to pay another $80. It was only $80, but still, like, if they got it wrong, I would like them to somehow reimburse, you know what I mean? Like, we bought it. So anyway, they were really, really sweet. They put me in the schedule for the following week. And when I went back, it was a different technician, and she was really, really sweet. They were all very, very sweet, but sometimes some people are in the game longer or know what to look for or whatever. And the lady that was our new technician, she had like been a technician for a really long time, and right when she put the thing on, she the baby moved its butt or whatever, its little body in front of it, and she's like, honestly, it's already starting to look like a girl, but we're gonna get every single angle just to be 100% sure. And I had brought my other friend, and we were like, oh my God, like, are you kidding? Like, I kind of had an intuition that it wasn't a boy. I just kept being like, I just don't know. I'm just not confident on this answer, blah, 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 blah. So my motherly instincts kind of kicked in early. And then she went over it. She didn't make me roll on the ground, nothing. She was just like, we're just going to kind of chill and kind of let baby do its thing. And the baby moved, and literally I saw on the monitor no little penis, nothing in between her legs. We got the ultrasound, and it had the 3 lines like all the girls do, and I was 100% sure that it was a girl leaving. The technician, she was like, I am 100% sure. I've got this angle, that angle. And we even got the little 3D, and she looked like a little girl. She was so cute. And so then I left and had to break the news to my boyfriend. He was really upset. Obviously, he's really, really happy. But at first, he had to be told that it was a boy, which is what he wanted. And then we had to go back and tell him that it was a girl. Even though he's really, really excited now, it was still kind of like, fuck, what a bummer. And, it kind of I feel better because kind of with our whole pregnancy, there were little funny things. Like when I found out I was pregnant through the pee stick, I went into the doctors, and they came back to the room and were like, oh no, you're not pregnant. And I was like, oh, are you sure? Because I was like, okay. And then and then the nurse was like, well, how many tests did you have to do? And I was like 5. And she's like, okay, you know what? And I was like, and they were all different brands and stuff. And she's like, okay, yeah, you know what, let me test it again. And she tested it again, and she came back. She's like, well, change the plans, you are pregnant. So little funny idiocracies kind of happened throughout this pregnancy. So I wasn't that worried about it, telling my friends, oh, you know what, it's a girl. I didn't care. I felt bad for my boyfriend. But what if I did have a gender reveal party, a huge party that we spent a bunch of money on, and all of this stuff, and family flew in from other country, out of the country or out of the state or whatever the case is, to have a gender reveal, and then boom, it's not even what it says. I feel like that would have sucked. Luckily, I'm low-key. I just kind of made a post and was like, it's a boy, and then now it's a girl, and everyone was so shocked. But I do want to say that the company itself is really, really cool, and they were really nice, and they're so willing to reimburse you. And they actually gave us a free 3D 4D for later in our pregnancy, which I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing, but they were really good about making sure that they made up for their mistake, and I think that was really cool. So yeah. But like I said, I think it was a mistake kind of going in so early, because the parts on your baby sometimes are just not developed enough, and it's kind of difficult to be able to tell. I literally have an ultrasound from the first time that literally says boy. It's pointing to a little thing that ended up being my baby girl's just swollen, but it totally looked like a boy. It did look like a boy. So then the next week, in just 1 week, her parts weren't swollen anymore, and you could tell that it was a girl and everything like that. So doing it so young, you do have that, you know, there is a lot of room for error as far as the ultrasound and them telling. So if you are going to use like sneak peek or something like that, or peekaboo, whatever, I would recommend maybe waiting until like 16 or 17 weeks. I know it's really difficult, but if you can't get the blood test. And then I also wanted to say another thing, because there's a blood test that you do with your doctors, and you get that free like at past 30. But if you're like below that, I think you have to like pay money for that or something like that. But Sneak Peek or one of those companies do a blood test. But I've heard from a bunch of people, even one of my friends who did it, that those gave inaccurate answers too. So unless you're getting the blood test from the doctor, I think that's 100% accurate. And then also waiting a little bit longer for your ultrasound when the baby's parts aren't as swollen. So to each their own. If you want to do it, I had a really great experience. Like, I didn't have to do the gender reveal party. It wasn't a big deal. I knew like maternal instincts kicked in, and I was like, you know what, I'm not probably having a boy. Let's go back and figure that out. And then we did. So it wasn't that big of a kerfuffle for us, but I could see it being a big issue for somebody else. And I read the reviews after they kind of messed up, and I'm just not that harsh. I don't want to like say a bunch of hateful stuff. So I was like, you know what, it's fine. They gave me a free one. It happens, like whatever. But I guess it would have been a little bit more stressful if I had a whole party and everything like that. But yeah. Or if I wouldn't have gone back, you know? Like, think about it. If my maternal instincts didn't kick in and I wasn't like, then I would have like, maybe I would have bought way more boy clothes or whatever until the 20th week. I don't really know, but I wasn't that mad. I still think the company is like a good company, so I would give it like 3 out of 5 stars, because you do have that room for error. I think maybe if they moved it up where you could tell the sex at like 16 weeks and on, I think maybe that would be better, but I don't know. People are so impatient, including myself, and when you just want to see your baby and you want to know what you're having and everything like that, I get it. But so, I mean, there's some goods, there's some ups, and there's some downs to finding out the gender so early, because is it actually the right gender? Who knows? I don't know. But from my personal experience, we did get the wrong sex, and it's not a little boy, it's a little girl. So, you know, that could be, I mean, it's my first child, so I didn't have a preference. But for some parents who maybe have like 4 boys already, and they're wanting their little girl, and they get told it's a little girl and then they find out it's another boy, or whatever the case is, that could suck. But yeah, overall it was fine. It wasn't that big of a deal. They were right down the street from me. But this is just like saying my experience, because maybe it will help somebody kind of with their decision on it, and being like, even maybe like checking in with the technician if they do have one in your town, checking in with the technician and being really 100% sure. And kind of, yeah, maybe even Google search some stuff that indicates that it's boy or girl, so you have kind of like a reference sheet. I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to my story. That is my story behind why I wish I would have waited a little bit, but it's fine. Either way, we're having a little girl, and we're really excited. And we did just get done with her like halfway diagnostic. She's really healthy, and she already like literally has this mouth like my mouth. It's so crazy. She looks like my twin already. But anyway, okay, well, thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.